I'm gonna be making some delicious pork carnitas, just the way I had them growing up. It's a very simple recipe, and I know you and your family are absolutely gonna love them. So today, I'm gonna show you how to make them step by step. Let's get started. So these are the ingredients that I'm gonna be using today to make my pork carnitas. I've got 3.5 pounds of pork shoulder butt, and I've cut them up into about 3 inches in size like this. Now you wanna make sure that you cut your meat up all the same size so that it can all cook evenly. I'm also gonna be using the zest and juice of 1 orange and 1 lime. I have 3 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon of Mexican oregano, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. I have 8 large garlic cloves, and I already smashed them so they can release their flavor into the pot. I have 3/4 of a medium onion. I'm gonna be using 1 pound, which is about 2 cups of lard. Now, traditionally, we always use lard. I know many people use vegetable oil and other things, but traditionally, it's lard that we use when we make our carnitas. And I'm gonna use 3/4 of a cup of Coca-Cola because of the sugar and the caramel. That's what's gonna give our carnitas that beautiful golden color. And I'm gonna use 3/4 of a cup of whole milk, 1 tablespoon of salt, and 3/4 of a cup of hot water. Now, before you get started, you wanna add your salt into the hot water, see? And then give it a nice stir and let it sit there until you're ready to use it. Now we can move on to our next step. So I'm gonna start out by searing my pork meat. I'm gonna be using this large Dutch oven, and I've got my heat set on medium. Now my lard is nice and melted, as you can see, and it's nice and hot. And I'm gonna put my meat in here 1 piece at a time like this. Wanna get that beautiful golden color right on top, see? Now I'm just gonna let them sear like that from the bottom for a few minutes before I flip them over to the other side. See the golden color? That's what we want. And I'm gonna continue flipping them over every few minutes so that we can have a nice golden color all around. So my meat has been searing now for about 15 to 20 minutes. And look at the color. Look at how beautiful it is now. And I'm gonna add the zest of 1 orange, see? Now I like to add the zest because the citrus will be, spread all around in the pot like that. So I'm done zesting my orange. Now I'm gonna do the same with 1 lime. The combination of both in here is just gonna make these carnitas so delicious. It's that citrus that gives it that beautiful flavor. Now I'm gonna add the juice of both of them in here. Look at that. Look at this orange. It is so juicy. Oh my gosh. Now after I squeeze my orange in here, I'm gonna drop it in there. I'm gonna do this one. These are good oranges. Look at that. And I'm gonna do the same with the lime. I'm only gonna add half of the lime in there. Now I'm gonna stir them in and get them in nice and snug in there. Now I'm gonna add my herbs and spices. Here's my pepper. Here's my cumin. And here's my dried thyme. Here's my oregano. Here's my onion. Here's my garlic. And my 3 bay leaves. Some people don't add a lot of herbs and spices in here, but I do because it's like a turkey on Thanksgiving. You see, you can just add pepper and salt and then put it in your oven and it'll be delicious. But then you'll know it's really delicious when you add your thyme and rosemary and sage and butter and all that. And it's the same with the carnitas. So now that I've got everything down in the bottom, I'm gonna add my salted water. Now, as you can see, it's starting to boil, and you want a low, steady boil, just like that. I'm gonna add my milk. See, it's gonna have a weird look about it, But the milk is what's gonna tenderize this meat also, along with all the other ingredients. Now, I'm gonna lower the temperature a little bit because I don't want it at a rolling boil. I just want a nice low bubble. And I'm gonna let it cook like this, anywhere between 45 minutes and 1 hour. So it can get real nice and tender. So it's been approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. And look at this. Oh my gosh, and I wish you could smell it in here. Now it's time for me to add my Coca-Cola. I'm gonna add it in here. Now the caramel and the sugar in the Coke is what's gonna give it the caramelization we're looking for. I'm gonna let it continue cooking just as it was. And I'm gonna be moving it around like this, flipping it around every so often until our time is up. So I'm shredding my carnitas. They are literally falling apart. I had to stop my Ron from picking at them. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. See? And that's what you want. You want them to just be falling apart tender. Now I'm gonna show you how we like to eat these. Very simple. I've got my tortillas right here, and I like to get them a little charred because it brings out the flavor of the corn. Now I've got some guacamole right here. I'd like to smear it like this. Then I put some of my carnitas. Oh man. Then I'm gonna put some of my onions, some cilantro, and some of my delicious salsa verde, my green salsa. It's nice and hot. And I'm gonna squeeze some lime juice on it like this. See? Oh man, it's a big one. Look at this. Now it's time for the taste test. So these are my delicious pork carnitas. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up, send me a comment and tell me what you think. And do subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you.